All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it is now time to do the report that we all saw coming. If you guys remember, about a couple of days ago, I talked about MindsEye and how MindsEye had less than 100 people playing this game. I remember talking about that. I think at the time it was about 80 some odd people playing the game, with about 100 some odd people playing within a 24-hour period. Those are abysmal numbers for a AA studio and a AA game. I don't think this game is quite AAA just yet. I don't think it had that kind of a budget, but it had a big enough budget for this to be such a massive failure that anybody looking at the numbers can easily see just how bad this was going to end up. If you look at the Steam numbers right now at the time of filming this video, the game currently has 72 people playing the game right now with a 24-hour peak of 99 people playing this game. If I were to refresh it, the number went up by 1. So congratulations to MindsEye. But at the end of the day, this is nowhere near enough people to play this game. And it was very clear that certain things, certain measures were going to have to happen. And they were going to be drastic. Either the studio was going to close down or layoffs were going to sweep across the studio. Now, apparently, it seems like that's exactly what's going on. They're going to be letting go and suffering massive layoffs after the catastrophic game failure of MindsEye. So let's get into this video, guys. But of course, before we do, special shout out to the 90,500 of you that are subscribed to this channel. And if you are not subscribed and part of the 50% that chose not to hit that sub button, consider hitting that subscribe button today. I would greatly appreciate it. So we have a headline here from Insider Gaming. And when I saw this headline, I got to tell you, I cheered a little bit because I suffered through MindsEye. I even platinumed MindsEye. And this particular game had such a great skeleton. You could clearly see that it had something there. It had something that could have become a good game. But unfortunately, it was rushed out the door about a year too early to try to recoup its money. But all that ended up happening was it got felted. That's basically it. MindsEye developer Build a Rocket Boy begins layoffs following the catastrophic game launch. Build a Rocket Boy, the developers behind the recently released MindsEye, have reportedly begun a redundancy process following the game's disastrous launch. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, how many people? How many people? Is it just a little bit? Is it a lot of it? Is it everybody? Is it 5 people? Is it just the community manager? Who is it? Well, they are going to be firing over 100 people from the studio. That's how big of a failure this game is. According to IGN sources who say that the studio could see over 100 employees affected during the redundancy process. Although the studio has not provided an exact figure, the redundancy number has been speculated upon due to a 45-day consultation process that begins on June 23rd. According to UK law, the consultation process is triggered when an employer intends to lay off at least 100 employees, says IGN. Build a Rocket Boy currently has around 500. Oh my God, wait a second. I might have to revisit that AA, AAA comment. This studio has 500 employees that are trying to survive on a game that has gotten a maximum concurrent count of 3,302 players, with an estimated sales of anywhere between 20,000 and 60,000 on Steam. That is crazy. That is crazy. Why do you have 500 people working on this? What do you do? What do you do? I don't understand. Do you have 500 employees? 300 are from the UK and 200 are overseas, says IGN. Build a Rocket Boy's LinkedIn profile currently says that 448 people work for the company. What do you do? What do you do? I don't understand. There's no way that all 400 plus people work on the game, right? There's no way. There's got to be at least like probably 100 some odd, HR, paperwork people, office people, whatever. Like, there's no way. Because honestly, even over 300 there's no way. How do you release such a buggy, terrible game? How do you spend years developing this game to release this disastrous kind of a video game with over 300 people working on this game? And you have developers like Expedition 33 over at Sandfall Interactive with 33 main developers that are outsourcing work here and there. But at the end of the day, it's 33 people. 33 versus you with over 400. What are we doing? I don't understand. This is one of the biggest problems that is happening in the gaming industry right now. I talk about this all the time. The bloat is astronomical. When I look at these studios and I look at the numbers that they have and the amount of people that are working for them, I have to question, what the hell are you doing? What are you spending your money on? What do these people do every day that makes you keep them around? I don't get it. I just really don't. But in any case, MindsEye released for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on June 10th and became the worst rated game in 2025. On Metacritic, MindsEye has secured a critic score of 43, which is generally unfavorable. The user score sits at 2.4 out of 10. Keep in mind, that's pretty consistent with the Steam numbers, where right now it sits at 39.15% positive with over 1,000 reviews for this particular game. It's a cluster right now. The social media was flooded with videos and screenshots of the game's bad performance and general bug issues, painting the game as a pre-alpha. But no, the game was fully launched, and its issues prompted Build the Rocket Boy and MindsEye publisher IO Interactive to pull sponsored streams. In addition, the publisher notified the media that the codes were extremely limited and could not be provided to many outlets. That was a big red flag when they would not provide codes to people. Because for me, I don't care. I don't rely on codes from these people anyway. But I know the shield YouTubers do. And when they couldn't get codes, that was a huge red flag. And then we obviously saw that streamer get his stream canceled by the publisher because they didn't want people talking about it. It was pretty obvious. That being said, it seems like the game hasn't sold well. Seems like the game hasn't sold well. I think it's well beyond seems at this point. I understand trying to be, allegedly, right? But come on, bro. You could just say it didn't sell well. And now the developer is likely to have mass layoffs in the coming months. What this means for Build a Rocket Boy's second game, Everywhere, which was intended to release in 23, but has seen multiple delays, remains to be seen. Everywhere is about to be retitled to Nowhere because there's no way in hell that game is coming out because they haven't even fixed their first game. How are you going to come out with a game called Everywhere when MindsEye is a complete broken mess? You guys are still fixing MindsEye. It's an absolute joke. If you go over to the Steam forums, right? Check out the Steam forums. Look how bad it is over here. You got people mentioning this 41 minutes ago. That's it. It's cooked. It's over. People know, man. People know it's over. Barb is starting layoffs now. Over 100 employees are fired. This thing is absolutely cooked. The beginning of the end, indeed. IO Interactive has made a big mistake investing in the publish of this MindsEye game, as it clearly harmed the support for Hitman 3. I gotta imagine IO Interactive. What are they going to do? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is IO Interactive the one that's behind the upcoming James Bond game? If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're the ones that are in charge of the upcoming Bond game. This is going to take a lot of money out of their pocket because this is going to be a big hit for them. This is going to be a huge hit for them. And unfortunately, I don't really have much faith for Hitman 3 either. I just don't. Exactly. Barb must close now and Steam accept refunds immediately. I agree. I think at this point, the best course of action is for the MindsEye studio to close down. The MindsEye studio needs to close down, offer refunds, and go the way of Firewalk Studios. Just accept that this was one of the biggest L's, and you are part of that. You are part of that lore in gaming now. When people talk about L's in gaming, they're going to reference Concord and they're going to reference MindsEye because they are essentially very similar. The only difference is one is single player and one was a multiplayer shooter. But you guys went the same exact route. You just are absolutely stupid in every sense. And you had so many employees. Firewalk Studios, I believe, had over 400 employees. Something astronomical like that. It was ridiculous. And this particular studio has the same exact thing too. It's wild. Like, what are you doing, man? This person says they really tarnished their reputation with this game. All those amazing Hitman games, and now this. Well, again, it's not really IO Interactive. They're the publisher. It's more so Build a Rocket Boy. They're the ones who did this. IO decided to fund this game, or at least be the publisher for this game, but that's basically where it ends. They're not the ones who developed this game. So I really wouldn't hit them too hard, but I could understand why people would say this would tarnish their reputation because obviously their name is attached to it to some extent, so they have to stand by it to some extent. I get that. I totally get that. So in any case, it tarnishes a Build a Robot's name. I'm sorry. Not IO Interactive. This won't affect the future Hitman game, as these are completely different studios. It will, because if they had some financial incentive tied to this game and the game flopped like this, then the publisher will in fact lose money for this. So it could potentially affect the future Hitman game. Absolutely. But in any case, this is one of the worst stories I've seen in modern day gaming. And honestly, I'm just happy to see that there is some immediate repercussions for the fuck around and find out that Build a Rocket Boy decided to do. This is where the finding out portion takes place. And to fire well over 100 people, I think is going to be a good start. But I got to be honest with you, I think it needs to be more. I think there absolutely needs to be more firings because it's just not enough. And they're going to join the ever-growing list. That is this list that we have here. This list was last updated on the 20th of this month, 3 days ago, and I wouldn't be surprised. Look, 1047 games was added to this list with no official number over how many people fired. That was from Splitgate 2, but this list is going to have now Build a Rocket Boy on this list as well. But hopefully the entire studio ends up closing down because they have nothing to offer. Their next game everywhere, bro, don't even bother. Just don't even bother. Close it down, in my opinion. So you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think, man? Do you think that this is rightfully done? I'm sure you probably do. But if you disagree with me, you know what I want? Here's what I want. For the people watching this video, all the people who were on the comment section of my previous MindsEye videos, when I talked about all the red flags that this game has, when I talked about how it was not a good look that the CFO and the head of legal left the team a week before the game came out, I want every single one of the people who were leaving comments on my video, calling me a grifter, calling me a hater, saying I just don't like anything, saying that the game looks perfectly fine, that the game plays perfectly fine, that I'm just somebody who wants every game to die. I want you guys to just comment on the video and just say, I was right. That's it. That's all I want. I'm not going to yell at you or anything like that. I'm not going to make it into a big deal. I just simply want you to say that I was right. I'm not right all the time, but when I'm right, I mean, shit, if you could leave me the comments, calling me grifter and everything like that, and then come to find out I was right, at the very least, you could say, I'm sorry. At the very least. But let's be real. We're more likely to see MindsEye succeed than we would to see somebody like these people admit they were ever wrong. So you can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this situation? Do you think that the studio should close completely? Or do you think them firing 100 people is going to be enough to turn this ship around and fix MindsEye? Because keep in mind, they have been releasing hot fixes. Granted, they need a lot more than hot fixes. But let me know what you think overall. And special shout out to the 90,500 plus that are subscribed to the channel. And if you are new here, or if you are part of the 50% that aren't subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe if you enjoy the content. And I'll see you on the next one.